So today we got some super intriguing news on behalf of an editor for Star Wars The Force Awakens, and they revealed some really intriguing and eye-opening stuff for the Star Wars universe that may have just given us an answer to a huge question many fans have had after the film. Today, an editor for Star Wars The Force Awakens was speaking and revealed some changes that were made in the film that changed from the script to the actual final cut of the movie. The editor revealed several things that eventually were cut out, including an extended Cloud City scene that would accompany Rey as she walked down the Bespin hallway. Originally, Rey was to witness Luke and Vader fighting in front of her, and the scene would then transition to Vader cutting Luke's hand off. A holdover of this was kept in the final cut when Luke screamed no after Vader told him he was his father. So now we reach the really important part. Right before this was to happen, Rey was to enter another room, and then it would transition into Cloud City, very similar to the final cut. But before she turned around and saw Vader dueling Luke, a young boy would appear before her with a different looking version of Snoke looming over him. This is really interesting, and in the novelization for The Force Awakens, which is canon, Rey actually did see a young child in her vision, but no Snoke. In the novelization, she calls out to the child but receives no answer, so then she attempts to run to him but falls and slips. The scene then transitions to the Knights of Ren we saw in the movie. The direct passage from the novelization says this: "Hello? Wreathed in the irrationality of the moment, she called, hopefully, but received no answer. A boy appeared at the end of the hallway. She started toward him, and the world turned inside out, causing her to trip and fall." At this point, it is pretty clear who this young child is. The child is Ben Solo, and the importance of this is now we get a better idea of how long Snoke has been manipulating Kylo. Again in the novelization, it was mentioned that Leia somewhat felt Snoke and his influence over her son, and this was a major reason she sent him to train with Luke, to give him a positive to outweigh the negative. Unfortunately, Ben did not see it this way. Interestingly enough, I believe Leia even felt Snoke before Ben was born. In Aftermath Life Debt, the most recent canon Star Wars novel, when Leia is pregnant with Ben, she meditates, and during her meditation, after being filled with a sensation of peace, is overwhelmed by one of fear and pain. I believe this feeling was in fact Snoke, and his plans for Kylo began before the boy was even born. This is very important for Kylo as a character, as it represents he may have been doomed from the very start. I have heard theories that I agree with that the constant influence of Snoke has driven Kylo somewhat mad, as he has almost been tortured by this dark presence for as far as we know now as a young child. As a reminder, however, the Snoke scene was ultimately cut, meaning it is not canon. Again, however, although it was cut, it gives us important insight that for a very long time it has been the case that Snoke has been looming over Kylo for maybe decades. The fact that this made it to the final script is really interesting, and honestly, I would have liked to see it in the vision and see what this different version of Snoke looked like, whether he was still scarred or looked more, for a lack of a better word, normal. So tell me how you feel about this. What do you think it means, and should Snoke have been kept in Rey's Force vision, or was it wise to leave him out? Sorry for the late upload, but this is a pretty big deal, and I wanted you guys to know about it as soon as possible. If you have any other lore topics or questions you want answered, do not hesitate to tweet them at me, at Stupendous Wave on Twitter, or leave a comment below, and I will try my best to answer, or make a full video dedicated to your topic. Thanks again for watching. Please don't forget to comment. I really want to hear what you think. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.